Well, this is the stuff. This is the stuff. Alright. So, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be reading off the Konorium. Pretty much it's everything that we needed answered. It's finally going to come full circle, and I'm going to read it all and answer all the questions, and it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. So what I'm going to do is I need to go here, I need to go here. Alright, so here we go. Alright, I'm going to have a theater thing in the background. Let's find a really long game. This one is 88 minutes long. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start this up, and I'm gonna be reading the Zombies Konorium and everything. You guys are gonna be all like, "Oh, why are you doing it in theater mode so I can actually read and do everything and not have to play and focus and everything? I can just focus on the thing, and I needed something in the background, and I know I just don't have the stuff to you know, have it go through or anything. So let's have audio go through there. Alright, so without further ado, here we go. Okay, so we're gonna start with the storyline in the beginning. Dimension 63, Agartha and fractures, and then character bios. We'll go through there. So here we go. We're gonna start in the beginning. Now I think this is going to be amazing. This is going to be amazing. So in the beginning, there was only one. Let's go with that. There was only one Aether and the Keepers. Among them were two beings who would later be known by many names. One would be known as Dr. Monty, and the other as Shadow Man. And the other as Shadow Man. That is good. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of those, and you guys can just enjoy the thing. Sup, Ethan? Welcome. Hope you enjoy all this note. September 3rd, 5 AD. Knowing the planet has a gateway to Agartha, the Apothicons and meteors of element 115 to Earth. Oh, Agartha send meteors of element 115 to Earth. They believe humanity will one day use element 115 to wage war against themselves, opening a rift that will allow the Apothicons to escape Dark Aether. So that kind of explains the whole Revelation stuff that was going on. January 15th, 1292. The Great War between humanity and the Apothicons begins.
You suck dick balls.
April 14th, 1294, Sir Pablo Marinus is saved from the clutches of Amargua by the four unknown heroes. They would later become known as Primus. Oh, the Primus characters! Oh, from the Origins ending, they are not Origins, Revelations endings, because they turned to Primus characters. December 31st, 1299, together with the Keepers, Primus defeats the Apothicons, bringing the Great War to an end. On January 1st, 1300, before they seemingly disappeared from history, Primus instructs the Wolf King to begin building their Eisendrache. So the Wolf King is the one who builds their Eisendrache. Mikey, what's up, man? If you want to stay for this, if you want to know zombies, man, you might want to stay for this, because this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. I'm just telling you now. Der Eisendrache, accompanied by the King's Wolf. So Der Eisendrache was built by the king. Wait.
I am staying.
Yep. Wolf to begin building Der Eisendrache. September 19th, 1318, honoring the Wolf King's dying request, his loyal servant Arthur scatters and buries his bones in the ground of Der Eisendrache, accompanied by the King's Wolf. So when you're trying to get the wolf bow, it's the bones of the king that you're trying to get for the wolf bow. That makes so much sense, because I never really knew the points of the bows, or the bones, and why you needed to get the kills and everything, and collect the souls. It's the bones of the king. September 20th, 1318. Temporal rifts teleport Arthur to Resolution 1295 in 2025 Angola. June 30th, 1908. A meteor containing element 115 crashes near the stony Tunguska River. That's really hard to say. August 30th, 1925. A Dr. Edward Richtofen joins the Illuminati. So it's 1925. The Illuminati was just introduced, and Richtofen is already joining the Illuminati. You know what? What a shock that Richtofen's part of the Illuminati. You know. February 4th, 1931. Large deposits of element 115 are discovered near Breslau, Germany. Dr. Ludwig Maxis, a German scientist, is sent to investigate. May 10th, 1931. Maxis forms Group 935, an experimental organization dedicated to the study of element 115. Maxis tells his scientists they represent the future of technological advancement and will be pioneers of human discovery. The group swears to work in secrecy for their respective governments. As Maxis say, we cannot afford to let this power fall into the wrong hands. So that just answers more and more, saying that Maxis was the one who pretty much was the leader and everything. So that's actually really good to know. November 5th, 1934, Samantha Maxis is born. Her mother dies in childbirth. So that explains why the mother was never talked about. Let's go ahead and see. I am staying. Oh man, good. That's gonna be great. You guys are gonna have a fun time. If you guys are already hyped for the Konorium to be read to you guys, go ahead and drop that like. This is just gonna get better. August 11th, 1936, Maxis invites Richtofen to join Group 935. He agrees, secretly acting on behalf of the Illuminati's interests. April 10th, 1934, the Imperial Japanese Army discovers element 115 meteor fragment in a swamp within Japanese territories. They build the Rising Sun facility to continue research. Division 9 is created to oversee its operation. That's awesome. That is actually awesome. June 14th, 1934, the United States government discovers deposits of element 115 at Groom Lake, Nevada. Oh, so America knows about it now. Great. That's just lovely, man. June 2nd, 1939, Maxis and Richtofen began teleportation experiments with the matter transference prototype to mild success. The subjects are teleported, but their chemical composition is altered, leaving them catatonic and changed. Oh, that's lovely. What's wrong with your face, man? Oh, I just teleported. August 5th, 1939, using element 115, Maxis and Richtofen resurrect one of the teleported corpses for the first time. Initially, it obeys, but soon becomes rabid and attacks them. The test subject is euthanized. Oh. So the zombies, huh? Makes more sense. September 3rd, 1939, Richtofen begins development of the Wunderwaffe DG2. Oh, that's right. Richtofen is the one who made that, dude. Oh, this is getting better and better. November 23rd, 1939. Maxis turns to Richtofen. Oh, my bad. Maxis turns to the Riksdag for additional fundraising. Germany agrees to the request, expressing interest in their weapons research, teleportation technology, and the reanimated undead subjects. December 4th, 1939. During test trial 151, Richtofen and Dr. Schuster successfully teleport a walnut. This is first successful test where the chemical composition of the object is maintained throughout the process. On December 5th, 1939, Edward's walnut delivery fails to impress Maxis, who declares it is a waste of time. He reveals to Richtofen that Group 935 will soon be funded by Germany. Richtofen worries that this will lead to massive defections. He and Shuster decide to continue their teleportation experiment behind Max's back. On January 4th, 1940, Richtofen and Shuster conduct their first human teleportation test. Richtofen is so confident in its success, he volunteers the MPD, the Aether Pyramid hidden by the Apothicons. Ooh. The pyramid. Well, is that the Moon Pyramid, or is that the Eisendrach Pyramid? While inspecting the device, Richtofen is electrocuted and begins hearing the many voices of corruption, including that of the Shadow Man. The device then teleports him to Shangri-La. Corrupted by the dark aether, Richtofen is gradually being driven insane by an obsession. Find Agartha. So, that's why. That's why you can hear Samantha. So maybe Samantha starts talking when you're in Origins, because he needs to find Agartha. Oh man. January 5th, 1940, Richtofen is worshipped by the natives of Shangri-La. An altar is built in his name. Richtofen encounters the focusing stone for the first time. Shangri-La, man. Everybody knows that map. So happy it's being remade in DLC 5. January 23rd, 1940. After a near month absence, Richtofen returns to Shuster with the plan to build Griffin Station. Oh, Griffin Station. January 24th, 1940. Richtofen renounces his involvement with the Illuminati. When asked how he could abandon his obligation to the Order, he says Teddy was a liar. Teddy. He's talking about the teddy bear, or someone named... I don't know. March 13th, 1940. Construction of Griffin Station on the moon begins. Frustrated with Max's alignment with Germany, other disgruntled Group 935 scientists join the cause. So they're building Griffin Station on the moon. Lovely. I can already see how this is probably going to turn out. July 13th, 1940. Maxis instructs his assistant, Sophia, to write a letter to the Reichstag High Command requesting additional funds, though he reports the mass production will soon be underway shortly. Der Reese lacks not only the funding, but sufficient volumes of Element 115. August 1st, 1940, in response to Max's request, Germany creates 2 new facilities for Group 935. They are the Kino facility and repurposed theater, the asylum facility at the Chronicles Konorium in Kino der Toten in verrückt. Oh, das ist verrückt. Das ist verrückt. Oh man, that makes so much sense though, how they all. August 18th, 1940, as per Germany's request, the Japanese Imperial Army hands over the Rising Sun facility to Group 935. Division 9 remains involved on site. October 3rd, 1940, Group 935 establishes a research facility in Siberia near the Tunguska River. November 6, 1940, Group 935 establishes a research facility at Der Eisendrache. June 24th, 1941, Nikolai Belinsky's wife is killed during the German advance into the Soviet Union. In an effort to numb the pain, Nikolai increasingly turns to vodka. So I have Gerard Crovey playing in the background, and we're trying to do the Easter egg, and it just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense why the ending cutscene is what it is. Because he's talking about suffering loss, and then it goes to drinking vodka. Everything's just coming full circle. I'm so glad I found this. Oh, man. January 11th, 1942. Maxis gives Fluffy to Samantha. The dog is expecting a litter. Ooh, Fluffy. The hellhound. On to the next page. January 20th, 1942. Maxis tests the first file for storage on the data servant. January 26th, 1942. On the data servant, Maxis catalogs locations with prominent Element 115 deposits. He includes information about its various applications and cities, that the reanimation of dead cells is a possible side effect. I don't know, man. This is This is turning out actually really cool. January 30th, 1942, Richthofen completes the Wunderwaffe DG2 prototype. So, that was completed on January 30th. Huh. The Wunderwaffe DD2 is still a really good weapon. I like it. February 1st, 1942, with Griffin Station completed, Richthofen's names Dr. Groff, lead scientist, and returns to Earth to continue the charade with Maxis. Working alongside Schuster, Groff is left to discover the power of the MPD. February 2nd, 1942, in a speech to his staff, Groff talks optimistically about Griffin Station establishment as a prominent base of operations. April 17th, 1942, Maxis develops the ray gun prototype at the Rising Sun facility. H. Porter works on developing the second generation model. Ooh, so the ray gun, and then the ray gun Mark II. June 13th, 1942, a result of temporal rifts in 1963 Kino, Monty reaches across time and offers little nudges. One nudge is developing Group 935's Element 115 fused elixirs. Oh, are those the elixirs that you can use in Newton's cookbook? Or I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess that'll be something that'll come in handy. Possibly later. They create 4 medicinal beverages known coagulable as Juggernaut, Quick Revive, Speed Cola, and Double Tap. Oh man. So the elixirs were used to create the 4 perks. June 28th, 1942, Group 935 continues development of a weapons upgrade machine, Pack-a-Punch. July 18th, 1942, Groff and Schuster unwittingly discover how to charge the MPD. When Schuster when Schuster kills a rat, kills. Well, they spelled it wrong. They have an A in there. When Schuster kills a rat near the device, its death inexplicably begins filling the tank charging the device. They report their findings to Richthofen. So that's how the whole collecting souls thing happened. July 20th, 1942, Richthofen begins sending soldiers and scientists to the moon to be sacrificed. Their souls used to charge the MPD. November 5th, 1942, Takeo Masaki is dispatched by the Emperor to oversee the work of Group 935 and Division 9 at the Rising Sun facility. So that's where Takeo comes into play. December 8th, 1942, Richthofen shares the Element 115 based elixir recipes with Griffin Station. They develop Kick. December 9th, 1942, Nikolai's brother is killed in the Battle of Stalingrad. Oh, Nikolai had a brother that was... December 14th, 1942, Richthofen creates the Monkey Bomb. A bomb that will go down in history, apparently. December 16th, 1942. In a personal log, Maxis expresses concern over Element 115's impact on Richthofen's behavior. No longer trusting him, he wonders if it was a mistake to invite him to Group 935. December 20th, 1942. Accompanied by Sophia, Maxis is transferred to the Kino facility to focus on creating Germany's undead army. Samantha is left in Richthofen's care. January 8th, 1943, Maxis worries he and Sophia have grown too close. He considered sending her away. Why? January 16th, 1943, Nikolai is captured by German forces during the Battle of Stalingrad. He becomes a subject in Group 935 experiments. January 27th, 1943, Maxis reports success with subjects 2-6, whose violent outbursts have been greatly reduced. Maxis believes that this method of treatment will be 100% effective in most cases. February 2nd, 1943, the Battle of Stalingrad ends. February 10th, 1943, Maxis reports the treatment has been perfected. He believes that if a subject 2-6 can retain their impressions longer than 26 hours, the delivery of the zombie army can be accelerated. So the plan was to create the zombie army, but then it went wrong. February 12th, 1943. After attacking a handler, Subject 26 is killed and deemed another setback. May 18th, 1943. Harvey Yenna begins this work with Group 935. Who has the name Harvey ever popped up? I don't remember. I'm gonna have to like sit down and play through every single zombie map there is. June 4th, 1943. Primus arrives from the Dimension 6-3. In an effort to prevent the events that are about to unfold, they formulate a plan to stop this dimension's Richthofen. June 11th, 1943. Richthofen is contacted from the house by Maxis, who warns that the test subjects must never be allowed to be awakened. The havoc that could be awakened upon the future by much simple-minded individuals would be catastrophic. Everything just like goes full circle with Rev, and like just a giant full circle. June 15th, 1943. Takeo reports to the Emperor that the work being done at the Rising Sun facility is unacceptable. June 19th, 1943. Primus Richthofen is teleported to the house in Agartha, reuniting him with Maxis. June 24th, 1943. On the order of the Emperor, Takeo was taken prisoner by the Group 935 in Division 9. He was used as test subject for experiments. Oh, so that makes sense for the ending of Zetsubo, the cutscene for Zetsubo, and the way he looks and why he looks that way. That makes so much sense. July 14th, 1944. After the setbacks with Subject 26, Maxis reports new success with the undead army. However, he maintains his belief that the undead cannot be controlled or maintained. September 2nd, 1944. Pablo Manis, a Mexican spy, is captured by Group 935 at the Reisenrache. May 9th, 1945. In his cell, Pablo writes of visions of a great war. He describes a great battle against strange demons-like creatures who are trying to devour the earth. In his vision, he sees 4 knights protect him from certain death. He makes a note of the knights wore tunics similar to those in Der Eisendrache. Huh. June 4th, 1945. Nach der Untoten. An Allied plane malfunctions over an airfield and crashes. German army trucks transporting the undead and Element 115 between Group 935 facilities is struck in the crash. Huh. The Marines surviving the crash hold out against the undead as long as they can. June 17th, 1945. Peter McCain infiltrates Group 935 at the Reese. Peter McCain, huh? June 29th, 1945. Graf and the Schuster developed the wave gun. The wave gun. If anybody doesn't know what that is, look it up. Man, it's a good gun. July 15th, 1945. Richthofen travels to the Siberian facility to do further research on live specimens as her temporary guardian. He takes Samantha with him. Group 935 begins transferring their 3 test subjects for experimentation. Nikolai, Pablo, and Takeo. July 29th, 1945. While Richthofen works at the Siberian facility, Group 935 begins development of Deadshot Daiquiri. Ooh, Deadshot. Not really the best perk, but I guess it's an okay perk. August 1st, 1945. The test subjects arrive at the Siberian facility for Richthofen's experiments. August 31st, 1945. CIA handler Cornelius Purnell confirms that Peter McCain has successfully infiltrated Group 935 and has been transferred to the asylum facility. Cornelius suspects Group 935 is losing control of their experiments and has sent in a Marine recon unit to extract McCain. Tank Dempsey is to lead the squad. Tank Dempsey. How am I not surprised? September 1st, 1945. Peter is outed as a spy captured by Group 935. September 2nd, 1945, Richtofen reports Pablo has died following a spleen removal. He also reveals he's been performing experiments on Samantha. Ooh. World War II ends. Group 935 continues their research. Temporal rifts begin to affect the asylum facility, and Orderly reports increasing problems with the test subjects. So, Origins. That's where Origins comes in to play. And it just, yeah. DLC 5 jobs, playing Origins, playing every single map in the order, and it'll make much more sense once we do all the Easter eggs and stuff. It'll come full circle. September 2nd, 1945. Many in the facility have begun hearing voices coming from the walls, including the sobbing of a boy and a girl screaming, and a man shouting for children to close the windows. Oh boy. September 3rd, 1945, an outbreak occurs at the asylum facility. Peter McCain escapes. September 6th, 1945, Verrucht. Dempsey, John Banana, Smokey, and a fourth Marine arrives at the asylum facility to find it overrun by zombies. They fight off the horde as long as they can. Dempsey is apprehended by Group 935. September 7th, 1945, John Banana writes messages and records his last words while being eaten alive by an undead Smokey. September 10th, 1945, Richtofen reports another spy has been captured and will be brought in to replace the Mexican. The subject is Dempsey. September 13th, 1945, Cornelius Purnell attempts to send a transmission to Peter McCain, telling him to rendezvous at the Rising Sun facility. September 17th, 1945, Dempsey arrives at the Siberian facility. September 20th, 1945. Richtofen documents the personality traits of his test subjects. Dempsey's intellect seems low, but his will is strong. Takio is still staring at the floor, muttering what sounds like some kind of proverb over and over again. Nikolai has recently begun responding to stimuli, but only after injections of a new serum made primarily from vodka. Richtofen notes that their minds have been almost entirely broken, with no memory remaining who they once were. September 27th, 1945, Richtofen returns to Darice, with Dempsey, Nikolai, Takio, Samantha. October 1st, 1945. Max reports on Richtofen's findings, with his live test subjects noting that while their baseline psyche remains intact, all specific memories have been lost. October 1st, 1945. Infuriated to learn that Maxis has not been mass-producing the DG2 as he swore he would, Richtofen reveals his plot to destroy Maxis and Samantha, vowing that he will no longer continue his work his undead army. October 8th, 1945. Graf reports to Richtofen that MPD is nearly ready. October 12th, 1945. Graf radios Richtofen to inform him that the device has been powered up and is waiting for the conduit. Richtofen says he will proceed with Operation Shield and dispose of Maxis and Samantha. October 13th, 1945. Though frustrated that the matter transference test has been largely unsuccessful, Maxis acknowledges that the test subject's departure from their original point of origins is undeniable. Whew, wow. However, Richtofen suggests that the subject has been transported not through space, but time itself, causes Maxis to worry if his irrationality may soon prove a liability to our endeavors. October 13th, 1945. Maxis and Richtofen perform teleportation test trials on test subjects November 3rd, 4th, and 5th all fail, including test 5, where Maxis uses Fluffy as test 6 chamber. Samantha sees Fluffy and runs into the teleporter. Maxis chases after her. Richtofen steals them both in the test chamber and teleports all 3 of them. So Fluffy and Samantha. Fluffy becomes a Hellhound. Samantha becomes locked in Agartha. Well, October 13th, 1945. Samantha is teleported to the moon while Graf and Schuster work on the MPD. Ooh. Running into the MPD, she is drawn inside of it, where she becomes corrupt by the dark aether. Yep, that's... Max is teleported to the crazy place and develops the power to merge with electricity. Richtofen returns to the moon. Learning Samantha is trapped in the MPD, he orders Graf to teleport. Max is there to coax her out of the device. He also warns Graf to keep an eye out for an evil-looking dog. Richtofen returns to the moon. Learning Samantha is trapped in the MPD, he orders Graf to teleport Maxis there to coax her out of the device. Why does it say the same thing twice? October 13th, 1945. In an effort to free Samantha, Maxis approaches the MPD and persuades her to come out. Once she does, Maxis gives her an instruction. Kill them all. Maxis kills himself and merges with the technology of Griffin Station, while Samantha unleashes the undead upon the base. October 14th, 1945. H. Porter activates the alarm as an outbreak occurs at Darius before taking a cyanide capsule. He says he's all out of hope. God forgive us all. October 4th, 1945. Richtofen returns to Darius and awakens Dempsey, Takeo, and Nikolai. With no recollection of who they are or who Richtofen is, they agree to help him. The 4 would become known as the Ultimus. The Ultimus. Huh. Alright. That's, Alright. October 18th, 1945. Peter McCain parachutes over the Rising Sun facility. He dies shortly after. October 21st, 1945. Shino Numa. Ultimus travels to the Rising Sun facility to recover Richtofen's diary. Upon reading it, Richtofen begins to form his plan to defeat Samantha. October 28th, 1945. Darius. Ultimus returns to Darius. With his diary, Richtofen plans to use the teleporter to return to the moon and confront Samantha. Unfortunately, the Wunderwaffe DD-2 overloads the teleporter and sends them through time, causing Richtofen to drop his diary. November 5th, 1945. Group 935 is disbanded. January 19th, 1946. The United States and the Soviet Union share the resources recovered from Group 935's various research stations. Richtofen's diary is among the items recovered by the Soviet Union. January 27th, 1946. The Pentagon hires many former Group 935 scientists in an effort to replicate their work. That explains 5. Black Ops 1, 5, with the lab and the Pentagon and the crawly things that they were trying... Okay. Wow. January 29th, 1946. As with their U.S. counterparts, the Soviets hire many former Group 935 scientists. Among them is Harvey Yana, who forms the Ascension Group. So that's where Ascension comes into play. January 29th, 1952, the Pentagon begins experiments involving their own versions of the undead. Yeah. May 12, 1955, the U.S. government transfers a number of Element 115 experiments to the Groom Lake facility. October 19, 1955, Garish and Yuri Zavosky begin working with the Ascension Group. April 25th, 1956, explorers Brock and Garvey discover Shangri-La. During an eclipse, they're unwittingly trapped in a time loop. Sally, sent back in time from 2011, is trapped in the same loop. Ultimus arrives in Shangri-La. With the help of Brock and Gary, they acquire the focusing stone. June 3rd, 1959. The Pentagon constructs their own prototype teleporter and commences experimentation. March 15th, 1962. Studying Group 935's medicinal elixir research, the Ascension Group develops PhD Flopper and Stamina Up. November 11th, 1962. Gersh begins work on the Project Thunder. The Gersh is the orb that you see in Gorod Crovey. Because I remember you can hear him, and then you can hear him screaming once you lock him up in the... Oh, dude. That... December 12, 1962. Gersh and Yuri begin work on the Gersh device, codenamed Project Mercury. June 15th, 1963. The Pentagon begins development on their own version of the Wunderwaffe DG-2. August 17th, 1963. The Pentagon begins their own version of the Winter's Howl. October 28th, 1963. Kino der Toten. From Der Reis, Ultimatus teleports to Kino. These marks the first time Ultimatus travels across space and time. Temporal rifts occur across dimensions. In light of these developments, Monty feels obligated to step in and begins to make change in the background across time. He helps Group 935 invent perk machines. He adds chalk drawings to walls, little nudges. Ultimatus locates a lunar lander and flies to the Ascension facility. Wait. Monty. In Kino, that last painting... That's gotta be Monty. Because you have Richtofen, you have Nikolai, Takio, and Dempsey, then that's gotta be Monty at the end. Oh, man. October 29th, 1963, Gersh informs the senior staff that Yuri has been removed from Project Mercury and has been transferred to Rocket Research. October 29th, 1963, Yuri begins to notice the appearance of children's toys around the facility. November 1st, 1963, upon reading Richtofen's diary, Yuri begins to hear Samantha's voice. Over several days, her voice will consume him, driving him to resume work on the Gersh device. He obeys. November 4th, 1963. Gersh announces to the committee that Project Thunder is nearing completion. Gersh reveals Yuri may need to be removed from the Ascension entirely, having observed him being hostile towards the other scientists, and frequently muttering to himself. Yikes. November 5th, 1963. Obeying Samantha's wishes, Yuri tricks Gersh into activating the Gersh device. The rift created absorbs him and allows Samantha to travel through. Yuri is also absorbed and transported to the Pentagon. November 6, 1963. Ascension. Ultimatus arrives to the Soviet Cosmodrome and to free Gersh from the Casimir mechanism. Richtofen recovers his diary and learns that they need the Vril device from the Siberian facility for his plan. Maintaining his ethereal form, Gersh sends them into a rift to their next destination before beginning his travels across space and time. November 6, 1963. 5. In the Pentagon, John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, and Robert McNamara with Fidel Castro and the aftermath of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Due to the events at the Cosmodrome, a zombie outbreak occurs. Samantha sends Yuri to the Pentagon to thwart their survival. After Garish is free and Ultimatus departs from the Cosmodrome, the outbreak ends at the Pentagon. All four survive. So wait, the Pentagon thief is Yuri. Boom. Mind blown for me. This is all new for me. November 19th, 1963. In an effort to avoid another undead outbreak, the U.S. government creates the Broken Arrow program, establishing several facilities across the country. The Groom Lake program is folded into Broken Arrow. August 11th, 1973. Broken Arrow recovers a shard of Element 115 from Division 9. September 19th, 1979, Russman begins work at Broken Arrow. Over the course of his employment, his extensive exposure to Element 115 leads to significant memory loss. April 20th, 1983, Broken Arrow begins live animal experiments with the shard, creating bios. June 24th, 1986, a containment breach involving the bios occur at one of the Broken Arrow facilities. Russman is one of the few to escape alive. The facility is shut down and abandoned. Its projects are transferred from to other locations. I don't know, man. That's really weird, dude. Yeah, I don't know. June 24th, 1969. Hold up. I need to fix something. Alright, there you go. Alright, Victus arrives at the abandoned Broken Arrow facility, still being pursued by an undead Richtofen. They recover the Element 115 shard and depart through another rift. March 17th, 2011, Call of the Dead. After entering the rift, Ultimus arrives at the Siberian facility in 2011, where they find themselves trapped in a closet with George A. Romero. While George A. Romero films his latest project in the location, Samantha, in her pursuit of Ultimus, unleashes an undead outbreak. The film's stars fight the undead horde, ultimately recovering the Vril device for Richtofen. Ultimus teleports to Shangri-La in an effort to acquire the next artifact required to defeat Samantha, the Focusing Stone. Sorry, I'm still processing some of this stuff in my head. April 11th, 2011. Following the disappearance of the Call of the Dead cast and crew, Romero's assistant, Sally, begins the search for her boss. Her journey lands her to Shangri-La during an eclipse, which sends her back in time to April 25th, 1956. Oof. April 10th, 2023. Broken Arrow creates the Denizens. July 8th, 2025. Broken Arrow accidentally creates Avogadro. Not Avogadro. Avogadro. I don't know how to say that properly. September 1st, 2025. In desperate need of more Element 115, Broken Arrow uses an excavator to drill near the nuclear testing facility known as Nuketown. October 13, 2025, Moon. So Moon took place at the same time in 2025. So that... Oh. Using the Vril device and the focusing stone, Richtofen completes his grand scheme and swaps bodies with Samantha on the moon, giving him full control of the zombies and the Aether. Maxis contacts the remaining member of Ultimus through the station electronics and asks for their help to defeat Richtofen. They agree. They launch missiles at Earth, leaving it fractured and broken. They serve Richtofen's connection with the Aether, but he maintains control over the zombies. Once Maxis controls the Aether in 2035, he returns to the moon and plucks Samantha from Richtofen's body to join him.
The zombies kidnapped Romero due to someone messing around with something and waking them up.
The zombies kidnapped Romero due to something messing around with something and waking them up. Yep. Yeah, that's about right, actually. Yeah, that's... Yeah, you're not wrong on that one. Here we go. October 13th, 2025. Nuketown zombies. A nuclear bomb explodes outside of Nuketown as a result of Broken Arrow's drilling. CIA and CTC operators arrive to find an undead outbreak already in progress. One of the missiles from the moon hits Nuketown, killing all inside, except for Marlton Johnson, who survives by hiding in a nuclear bunker. Ooh. So that explains the Marltons, or curing Marlton in the bunker on Nuketown. October 13th, 2025. The Earth fracturing triggers further temporal rifts, teleporting an 1800s American Western town underneath a mining facility, and in Angola, Arthur is pulled through the rift from 1318, arriving in the now buried town. November 5th, 2025. Broken Arrow is disbanded after the primary facility is lost in fire. It is later believed to be an act of arson committed by employees destroying evidence implicating them in the outbreak. Russman, his mind broken after over 40 years of exposure to Element 115, begins to wander the Earth. Oh boy. March 18th, 2027. In a distress call, former CDC Assistant Director George Barkley reveals that the infectious contaminants have gone airborne. He devises cautions regarding any allies showing signs of short-term memory loss, psychosis, delusion, and paranoia. March 27th, 2027. A society of survivors who eat the undead is formed. They are the Flesh. What an odd name. May 12th, 2027. Samuel J. Stuhlinger joins the Flesh. Stuhlinger. Huh. Alright. June 18th, 2027. Through the consumption of the undead meat, the Flesh begin hearing Richtofen's voice. He tries to persuade them to build global polarization devices for him in pursuit of his new plan, to mend the rift in space and time and acquire full control over the Aether. June 28th, 2027. Maxis begins communicating to survivors on Earth, telling those willing to answer. Oh God. Max begins communicating to survivors on Earth, telling those willing to listen to build global polarization device for him to pursue of his new plan. To open Agartha and reunite him with Samantha, even though it will result in the destruction of Earth. April 4th, 2028. The Flesh broadcasts their message across the frequencies. They tell others to heed our call, and that the path of enlightenment can be achieved by consuming the undead. December 9th, 2028, Max's followers begin constructing a spire near the Hanford site facility. January 3rd, 2029, Max's followers to doubt him, believing he may in fact be evil. They destroy their electronics. Whew. March 2nd, 2029. Max's followers attempt to speak to him again. Many have begun to hear Richtofen, and those loyal to Maxis eagerly await further instructions. August 15th, 2029. A broadcast is sent out confirming the fall of the Flesh, and Maxis followers, with each group hearing the voice of Richtofen or Maxis. A battle broke out between them as they fought a zombie horde, moved in, and destroyed all who remained. Stuhlinger is one of the few to escape. Richtofen and Maxis are left with no one to communicate near Green Run, where the first polarized device must be constructed. October 13th, 2035. Stuhlinger bumps into Russman, who has stolen a bus from an abandoned Broken Arrow facility. Transit. October 21st, 2035. Transit. Stuhlinger and Russman run into Marlton and Abigail Misty Brereton at a diner near the Hanford site facility. Maxis asks them to complete the polarization device in his favor. Stuhlinger, having consumed zombie meat, is contacted by Richtofen, who orders Stuhlinger to construct the device for him instead. The crew constructs the device for Maxis. The four would become known as Victus. October 22nd, 2035. Diaries. Still hoping to regain control, Richtofen teleports Victus to Province 22, where he demands that Stuhlinger activates the second polarization device once again. The crew sides with Maxis. The forces escape for some time, leaving Victus to wander the earth. December 31st, 2035. Buried. Victus arrives on an old western town, now located beneath a mining facility in Angola. They discover Arthur in a jail cell. He assists them on their journey. The voices of Maxis and Richtofen return. They activate the final polarization device in Max's favor. Now corrupted by the dark aether, he reveals his true intentions to Victus and punishes Richtofen by trapping his soul in a zombie. Drawn into Agartha by his father, Samantha witnesses the evil that has corrupted him. When a rift opens to Dimension 63 in 1918, she reaches out to the Timeline's Maxis for help. January 10th, 2036. Richtofen instructs undead Richtofen to pursue Victus and recover their blood vials. January 19th, 2036. Primus Richtofen begins to manipulate Stuhlinger, opening a rift for Victus to begin their new journey. Pursued by undead Richtofen and an army of the undead, Victus enters the rift. January 19th, 2036. Maxis destroys Earth and all its surviving inhabitants. Dimension 63. January 15th, 1292. The Great War between humanity and the Apothicon begins. I wonder if is it just going back in a circle? Okay. April 4th, 1294, Sir Pablo Marinus is saved from the clutches of Amargua by four unknown heroes that would later become known as Primus. December 31st, 1299. Together with the Keepers, Primus defeats the Apothicon, bringing the Great War to an end. To write some Jack. Alright. February 18th, 1300. Pablo begins documenting the Great War, including all he has learned about the Keepers, Apothicons, and Element 115. Regarding Element 115's power, he notes that a site in northern France contains massive deposit of the element. In northern France, a tomb is constructed with honor to the fallen soldiers in the Great War. Within the statues of Primus are constructed the symbols symbolize the hope and that if one day the great evil falls upon mankind, they may return. July 17th, 1898, Edward Richtofen's parents die. February 20th, 1905, Takeo Masaki fights the Battle of Mukden. August 11th, 1906, Richthofen begins his studies at Heidelberg University under the tutelage of Dr. Ludwig Maxis. Having lost his parents, Richthofen comes to view him as father figure. July 3rd, 1912, Richthofen and Maxis join Group 935. June 4th, 1914, Richthofen is visited by another version of himself. Handing him some blood vials, he explains, "You will need this blood. When the time comes, it will protect you," before stepping back through the rift. January 5th, 1915, Maxis invents the Mauser prototype. August 28th, 1916, the Journal of Sir Pablo Marinas, Night of the Great War, is discovering by Group 935. I am going to go get some water. I will be right back. Alright, let's get right back into this. Where'd we leave off? August 28th, 1916, the Journal of Sir Pablo Marinas, Night of the Great War, is discovered by Group 935. March 23rd, 1917, using information gathered by Pablo's journal, Group 935 begins work at Dig's site in northern France, where they discover a series of underground tombs. Origins. April 21st, 1917, Group 935 discovered what appears to be the entrance of the two main chamber. They struggle to gain access. May 11th, 1917, unable to access the main chamber, soldiers listen to the gramophone to elevate their frustration when listening to a recording of La Source Noire. The entrance to the main chamber unexpectedly opens. The camp's exposure to element 115 begins. May 21st, 1917. Using information from Pablo's journal and the tomb's main chamber, Maxis draws schematics for the creation of 4 elemental staffs and instructs Richthofen to begin their construction. May 29th, 1917. The more Maxis reads of the Great War, the more he begins to question his understanding of the scientific world and the true nature of the universe itself. He finds himself open to the possibility of higher power. June 11th, 1917. As Group 935 experiments with element 115, they successfully create localized energy fields which appear to function as portals. Nothing that objects can pass through them. Maxis speculate that that objects can pass through them. Maxis speculate that his rifts may have opened gateways across space and time. The rifts allow Samantha to reach out to Maxis from Agartha. She begs for his help and ultimately reveals she is his daughter. June 15th, 1917. An ancient box with the power of manifest weapons from different era arrives through a portal. Maxis from Fierce Element 115 is distributed in the space-time continuum. July 1st, 1917. Following the installation of Element 115 power generators, reports surfaced regarding ancient figures emerging from the dig site corresponding with the mysterious deaths of numbers of a number of groups, 9 through 5 soldiers, the ancient figures of undead knights from the Great War. Oh, man. August 3rd, 1917. Nikolai Belinsky is sent into exile. September 10th, 1917. Using Element 115, Group 95 constructs Freya, Odin, and Thor, giant robots who they believe will secure victory. So Freya, Odin, and Thor, those are the 3 robots that go walking in Origins. So they have a name. I thought, okay. Alright. September 22nd, 1917, Richtofen notes that in spite Group 9 through 5's progress at the dig site, he is troubled by Max's growing obsession with Pablo's diary. October 6, 1917, Takeo Masaki is dispatched to France by the Emperor to gather intel on Group 9 through 5's weapon technology. November 19th, 1917, following reports of prototype armored weaponry, strange lights in the sky, a mysterious plague, and even great metal man Tank Dempsey is deployed in northern France to assess the extent of Group 9 through 5's compatibilities. Alright. That's actually Tank Dempsey, dude. He's just all over the place. You know? Alright, give me 1 second. We're going to take a look at something. Alright, we are going to go... We're going to take a look at this. Alright. Okay, so where were we? December 10th, 1917. Already exiled in Europe, Nikolai receives new orders from the Imperial Russian Army to investigate the enemy war machine. Still loyal to the motherland, he willingly obliges. February 23rd, 1918. Nikolai writes of the ongoing civil war in his homeland. He does not expect peace to last long, but he is enjoying his time in France. March 2nd, 1918. Learning that the Emperor wishes to meet him to discuss a matter of great importance to our nation, Takeo writes that he feels a growing sense of dread in the wake of his recent dark, twisted dreams. April 14th, 1918. Despite ongoing battles, Dempsey fares well in northern France. In a personal letter, he reveals that both the Japanese and Russian armies have also sent spies to investigate the activities of Group 935. May 1st, 1918. Axis is obsessed with the voice of Samantha, who now speaks of him constantly. He believes her to be the key to everything. May 12th, 1918. Believing that his mentor has been affected by Element 115, like others at the dig site, Richtofen reports Max's erratic behavior to Group 935 senior staff. May 13th, 1918. Richtofen learns from Pablo's journal that the northern France dig site may be the single largest deposit of Element 115 on Earth. He believes this explains why he has affected so many at the site. May 14th, 1918. Not completely consumed by Samantha's voice, Max swears he will no longer serve Group 935's mission. Huh. June 4th, 1918. Origins. Element 115 awakens the undead knights from the Great War and quickly consumes the camp. Maxis is rendered catatonic by the element. Richtofen removes his brain before he turns. Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takio unite with Richtofen on the battlefield and help free Samantha from her imprisonment in Agartha. Primus has been reunited. Samantha sends Primus to their next destination. Max's brain arrives in Agartha, and Dr. Monty decides to step in. Monty brings Max's brain to the house and wipes Max's corrupted by dark aether from existence. Mob of the Dead. July 18th, 1922. Salvador Sal DeLuca opens gambling houses across Chicago. This marks the beginning of DeLuca crime family. February 17th, 1923. Billy Handsome joins the DeLuca crime family as a hitman. Sal will come to look at Billy as the son he never had. Ooh. September 18th, 1923. An expert in gambling and rigging supporting events, Michael Finn O'Leary begins working for Sal. March 23rd, 1924. Finn marries Angelina Bell, an inspiring starlet with delusions of grandeur. March 1st, 1929. Sal writes his frustration with Chicago's finest. After many years of successful bribes with the city, it becomes clear that it is no longer an option. May 11th, 1930. Sal begins to work with Albert Al Arlington, an associate in Los Angeles known for being a master schemer and bank robber. October 14th, 1930. Finn informs his lawyer he will not accept divorce from Angelina, saying she can leave this marriage the day she leaves this earth. October 11th, 1931. After an LA heist for Sal goes wrong, Al wakes up in the hospital. October 28th, 1931. While in the hospital, Al submits Icarus from Mars from publication as a comic strip. It is his third attempt. It is denied again. November 11th, 1931. Angry and frustrated with his collapsing empire, Sal kills a prostitute. No longer willing to turn a blind eye, Chicago PD arrests him. December 1st, 1931. In an operation against the DeLuca crime family, Billy is arrested for multiple homicides. December 19th, 1931. In an operation against the DeLuca crime family, Finn is arrested by Chicago PD when his wife offers evidence against him. January 19th, 1932. Al is arrested for his role in the LA heist. May 14th, 1932. Sal is found guilty of murder. He is sentenced to life in prison in Alcatraz. May 16th, 1932. Billy is found guilty 116 counts of murder. He is sentenced to life in prison at Alcatraz. May 30th, 1932. Finn is found guilty of 16 counts of gambling fraud. He will serve a sentence at Alcatraz. June 13th, 1932. Sal and Billy arrive at Alcatraz Island. June 30th, 1932. Finn arrives at Alcatraz Island. July 1st, 1932. Al is found guilty of grand larceny, grand theft auto, arson, conspiracy, and battery. He will serve his sentence at Alcatraz. August 3rd, 1932. Al arrives at Alcatraz Island. January 1st, 1933. Stanley Ferguson begins working at Alcatraz Island. April 1st, 1933. Al convinces Sal, Finn, and Billy that they can build a plane and escape Alcatraz. December 2nd. Wait. Dude, they put a 2 and an erd at the end. December 2nd, 1933. Realizing the plane will never be completed and embittered with rage, Sal, Finn, and Billy plot to get revenge against Al. December 31st, 1933. Finn, Sal, and Billy lure Al to the roof and kill him. Mob of the Dead. Sal, Finn, Billy, and Al battle waves of undead as they find themselves trapped in a seemingly endless cycle. January 11th, 1934. Stepping through a rift, Richtofen secures the blood samples of Sal and Finn. January 19th, 1934. Found guilty of Al's murder, Sal, Finn, and Billy are executed by electric chair. April 16th, 1940. Richtofen arrives in Dimension 63, where he contacted members of the Illuminati and enlists their help to build a laboratory facility beneath Alcatraz. April 18th, 1940. Richtofen meets with Stanley Ferguson and convinces him to assist with the... I already said that. They assist with the Illuminati's construction of the Alcatraz laboratory. July 3rd, 1941. Stanley Ferguson reports that the laboratory has been completed and that the subjects will be placed in the stasis chambers upon arrival. July 4th, 1941. Richtofen returns to the lab under Alcatraz, where we meet Victus, arriving from the empty Earth with the Konorium. Upon reading the Konorium, Richtofen discovers numerous timelines documenting their fates and learns that the blood vials. He would later write on the page, "I know what I must do." ER 4741. Richtofen enters a rift to acquire the blood of Sal and Finn. After delivering the blood of the younger self, and recovering the blood vials belonging to Victus, he returns. Victus is placed on ice to be kept safe until they are needed next. July 4th, 1941. Primus arrives to collect the Victus blood samples from Richtofen. Following Primus' departure, Richtofen learns the location of Summoning Key and travels to his next destination. October 1st, 1942. Stanley Ferguson leaves employment at Alcatraz. October 21st, 1943. Posing as Mr. Rapp, the Shadow Man hires the reporter to recover artifacts from the South Pacific and Russia. December 14th, 1943. The reporter recovers the artifacts from the South Pacific and Russia. Among them is the Summoning Key. December 25th, 1943. As per Mr. Rapp's request, the reporter sneaks into Stanley Ferguson, a retired guard from Alcatraz. Stanley gives a detailed account of the deaths of Al Arlington, Bill Handsome, Finn O'Leary, and Sal DeLuca. December 31st, 1943. At Mr. Rapp's request, the reporter arrives in Morgue City to take in the sights, sounds, and smells. January 15th, 1943. A meteor shower rains over Morgue City. January 30th, 1944. The reporter notes strange mold now growing all over the city. He also notes people are getting sick and acting delirious. February 13th, 1944. A fruit vendor tells the reporter about the ancient order of the Keepers and how they're the only ones holding back the forces of the apocalypse. He talks to the people hearing chatting from beneath the city. March 30th, 1944. The reporter sends Mr. Rapp a telegram providing details and contact information for Nero, Jessica Rose, Floyd Campbell, and Jack Vincent. April 5th, 1944. Aware of the Shadow Man's actions, Monty writes to the reporter, warning him not to give the Summoning Key to anyone. April 10th, 1944. Jessica Rose learns a photographer is in positions of compromising pictures of her. April 20th, 1944. Pretending to be a company executive, the Shadow Man tells Nero's lawyer that Nero's wife has taken out substantial loans in his name. Nero has 15 days to settle before the company seeks reparation, forcing multiple debts due to his wife's spending habits. Nero decided to kill his wife and get life insurance to pay off the debt. Masquerading as an internal affairs officer, the Shadow Man tried to convince Jack Vincent's partner to admit that Jack plots to kill the snitch who could provide evidence against him. April 20th, 1944. The Shadow Man poses as a film director interested in hiring Jessica for a leading new role. He tells her producer the part is hers. Afraid that the photograph could jeopardize her chance of stardom, she asks him to meet her so they can sort stuff out. April 20th, 1944. Posing as a journalist, the Shadow Man suggests Floyd Campbell is a journeyman fighter to Floyd's promoter. Wanting to guarantee a shot at the title, Floyd decides to wear brass knuckles under his gloves. for his fight with Tony King. April 21st, 1944, Nero misses a call from his lawyer informing him that the documents were forged. And there's nothing to worry about. Jack misses a call from his partner. He has back with internal affairs and has nothing to worry about. Floyd misses a call from his promoter to the fight was a success and that he has a shot at the title. April 21st, 1944, Jessica misses a call from her producer. He says he didn't have a good feeling about the director and it didn't work out. However, he scored her a lead in a musical he and his partners are financing. April 21st, 1944, Jessica kills the photographer and secures the incriminating photographs. Jack kills the snitch who could turn him over to infernal affairs. Floyd kills Tony, the king of the boxing match, and cash on his winning. Nero kills his wife in a work accident, cashing in her life insurance policy, square away the debts. April 21st, 1944, Richtofen arrives in Morgue City to secure the summoning key. April 22nd, 1944, Richtofen learns the reporter had the summoning key and confronts him. The reporter waves Monty's letter and Richtofen orders him to stay away before attacking him. Richtofen kills the reporter in self-defense. April 25th, 1944, Shadows of Evil. Nero, Jack, Floyd, and Jessica are knocked unconscious at the Blake Lake Burlesque Club. They wake up in the twisted vision of Morgue City, shifted slightly from reality. They told they can atone for their sins by the Shadow Man. All four are tricked into performing rituals. Jessica sacrifices a producer, Jack sacrifices his partner, Floyd sacrifices his promoter, and Nero sacrifices his lawyer. Completing the required rituals, the Apothecons are now given access to Dimension 63. Realizing they've been duped, the four work with the Keepers to defeat the Shadow Man. They trap him in a summoning key, but before they can hand it over to the Keeper, Primus Richtofen arrives and steals the key. Richtofen travels to Dimension 2210 to secure an ancient Richtofen soul. He delivers the soul to the house from within the summoning key. The Shadow Man states, "I'll be seeing you." Agartha. The summoning key. The Keeper's crafting the summoning key, a device that allows them to manipulate the Aether, holding power to alter itself, to alter reality itself. They use it to create Agartha, the first transference device. The Keepers master the ability to travel between dimensions, the Dark Aether. Some Keepers begin the experiment with the Dark Aether, which corrupts and corrodes their souls. Among them is the Shadow Man. The Aether Pyramid. The corrupt Keepers create the Aether Pyramid, a device compatible for absolute power. Schism forms between them and the Keepers and tainted by the Dark Aether. The War of Agartha begins. War breaks between the corruption and uncorrupted Keepers. The War of Agartha ends. Facing defeat, the corrupted Keepers hide in an Aether Pyramid on a moon within one of the newly discovered dimensions. After banishing the corrupted Keepers of the Dark Aether beneath the creation, the remaining Keepers take out the mantle of Guardians trapped in the Dark Aether. The corrupted Keepers contort and evolve the eons, ultimately becoming the Apothecons. They desire above all else to return to Agartha. The first arrival. With Dr. Monty's help, the Maxis drone arrives at the house in Agartha. Despite the absence of his soul, Monty recreates a physical manifestation of his Dimension 63 form. The arrival of Samantha. Monty brings Samantha to the house, reuniting her with the Dimension 63 incarnation of Father. Samantha's corruption. Knowing that Samantha is corrupted by the Dark Aether, Monty takes her away from Maxis and the house. The isolation of Maxis. Alone in the house and missing his daughter, Maxis worries if Richtofen will have the courage to fulfill the vow he made all these years ago. The rediscovery of the empty Earth. Having observed Monty for the same time, Maxis uses the teleporter in the basement of the house to study and explore other dimensions. Among them is empty Earth, where an alternate Maxis had constructed Zero Base, a facility that houses artifacts and replays collected for a multitude of different timelines. However, his attempts to manipulate the empty Earth create a reality too fragile to be sustained. The restoration of innocence. Monty returns Samantha to Maxis, her innocence restored. Monty explains to Maxis that the paradox route by a multiverse must be resolved. A new reality can be created, one free of the Apothicons, but only if they enlist the aid of souls who live through and survive the fracturing. Chronicles secured. The Konorium secured. Among the artifacts that Max collected in Zero Base is an ancient book known as Konorium, a complete chronicle of the entire history and future of all reality, protected by various countermeasures. The facility can only be accused by those pressing a soul. Richtofen's journey begins. Maxis tells Richtofen the plan to secure the Konorium and locate the summoning key. Hearing the echoes of his other selves, Richtofen discovers his connection with Samuel Stuhlinger and decides to use Victus to acquire the Konorium. The manipulation of Stuhlinger. Having overseen the construction of a laboratory beneath Alcatraz, Richtofen returns to the house where he begins to communicate with Stuhlinger. Together they pursue Victus to travel to a variety of locations in order to recover the Konorium. Konorium retrieved. Upon arriving at Zero Base, Victus provides blood samples that allow the access of empty Earth and recover the Konorium. The blood acquired. Richtofen collects the Victus blood sample from undead Richtofen. The arrival of Edward. Richtofen collects Eddie's innocent soul from Dimension 63, and Monty gives him a physical form in the house. Samantha meets Edward. Eddie and Samantha meet each other for the first time. Samantha writes in her diary, and Edward doesn't like to share toys. Happiness of children. Monty brings Eddie and Samantha more toys. Oh, the fragility of memory. Maxis notes that teleportation and travel between dimensions could have a profound impact on the mind. He fears that the confusion caused by the collision of memories, past, present, future, could lead to the collapse of reality itself. Oh no! I think I'm here. Yes. Alright. Give me 1 second. Man, dude, this is some very interesting stuff. Like, I'm glad I found this and I'm able to make sense of it all. Samuel said, "The children." Hey, Samuel, how you doing, man?
Doing a reading of the timeline. Which path are you on?
Doing a reading of the timeline. Which path are you on? Right now, I'm going through.
I'm assuming the beginning.
Yeah, I was going through the beginning, and now I'm fine. I'm in the Agartha area right now, and I'm about to read the arrival of the souls. The souls arrive. Maxis tells Samantha and Eddie to put the toys away and make sure the windows are locked before they come down to the basement. Yo, Samuel, are you gonna get DLC 5 when that drops? The arrival of Primus. New soulless, Primus begins the summoning key to the house, where Maxis unwittingly released the Shadow Man,
Dimension 6-3 is the Saw timeline.
who in turn frees the Apothicon from the dark aether, unaware that they would be wiped from existence once they have served the purpose. Primus battles alongside Monty in his final battle against the Shadow Man. Dimension 63 is the Shadows of Evil timeline. Oh, yeah, I went through that. Hell yeah. Yeah, dude, I think I'm definitely getting it when it drops. So, when that's all downloaded, me and you have definitely got to play all the maps. I'm going to be doing a 24-hour stream on every single map in order. So it's just gonna be great, dude. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Revelations. With the Shadow Man and the Apothicons vanquished, Dr. Monty discovers that Primus has consumed the blood souls of the dimensions that no longer exist. The paradox must be resolved. Fractures. Protozoan fracture. April 12th, 1942. Overran by the undead, the Rising Sun facility is lost. July 8th, 1942, Division 9 begins construction of the island facility. November 5th, 1942, Takeo was dispatched by the Emperor to oversee the work of Division 9 at the island facility. Agonia fracture. November 11th, 1942, Graf confirms that Division 9 has completed the resurrection of the ancient beast for the battle on the Eastern Front. Reports suggest that the specimens are still extremely dangerous, but the Germans' stalemate on the Eastern Front with the Russians will soon come to an end thanks to their involvement. I don't know how long I've been going on this, but wow. A lot of stuff has been answered in my book. Like, there's so many things I did not know, and it's finally being answered. February 2nd, 1943, the Battle of Stalingrad doesn't end thanks to technological advancements on both sides. World War II continues indefinitely. February 6, 1943, Division 9 expands experimentation to include use of prisoners of war, Division 9 staff, arachnids, and mystical beasts. February 13th, 1943, working with Maxis at the Kino facility, Sophia reveals she was attacked by Subject 2-6. February 14th, 1943, having learned Sophia was attacked by Subject 2-6, Maxis kills her and transfers her brain into a machine, the Strategic Operation Planning Heuristic Intelligent Analyzer, Sophia. June 15th, 1943, Takeo reports to the Emperor the work being done at the island facility is unacceptable. July 7th, 1943, Sophia is transferred to Stalingrad to oversee a Group 935's operation, which, of course, is the one playing in the background, Gorod Krovi. November 16th, 1943, Sophia confirms the existence of Project Respiration, the Russian Mangler soldier. July 11th, 1944, Sophia confirms the Russian giant robot has set back the German advance. January 3rd, 1945, the Russians used stolen Group 935 research to create the Russians giant, the Russian Mangler, and the Reagan Mark III. Oh boy. So they took stolen goods and made some pretty amazing stuff. April 4th, 1945. Sophia declares the Battle of Stalingrad is near victory for German forces, that the Valkyrie drones have been deployed to locate any resistance strains, and attempt capture. After the release of large concentrations of element 115 by German forces, the city becomes largely populated by the undead. Nikolai and his comrades continue to fight on what remains of Stalingrad. July 24th, 1945. On the order of the Emperor, Takeo is taken prisoner by Division 9. He is used to use test subjects for the organic plant-based experiments. July 24th, 1945. On the orders of Emperor, Takeo is taken prisoner by Division 9. He is used to the test subjects for their organic plant-based experiments. That's the same thing. Why does it happen on there twice? September 2nd, 1945, World War II still rages on. Stalingrad has turned into a three-way conflict between Dragon, Machine, and the Undead. Without any remaining human survivors, Sophia is now trapped in the city. Harvey, reports the Dragons have proven beneficial to the war efforts at Stalingrad. He confirms that Die Glocke research continues and explore time displacement and movement across dimensions. September 13th, 1945. Cornelius attempts the... Oops, did not mean to do that. September 13th, 1945. Cornelius attempts to send a transmission to Peter McCain, telling him to rendezvous at the abandoned Rising Sun facility. October 13th, 1945. The Giant. As a zombie outbreak occurs, Primus Dempsey, Takeo, and Nikolai confront Ultimus Richthofen moments after he teleports Max and Samantha. As they try to reason with him to wake their counterparts, Primus Richthofen arrives to the teleporter and kills his Ultimus self, triggering the fractures across space and time as Primus fights the undead Group 935, secure the Dempsey test subjects, and transport him to Der Eisendrache. Primus pursues them and German Giant. October 9th, 1945. With construction complete, Division 9 continued their projects on the island facility. October 18th, 1945. Zetsubo-no-shima. Primus secured Takio's soul after they helped him commit seppuku. Richthofen takes the crew to Dimension 9 through 5. To collect their blood from the insurance policy, they return to the island before traveling to the next dimensions. Let's, I don't know what's going on with the screen right now. Zetsubo-no-shima. Primus secures Takio's soul after they help him commit, Richthofen takes the crew to Dimension 6-3 to collect their blood for their insurance policy. They return to the island before traveling to their next destination. October 18th, 1945, Peter McCain makes his jump to Shinonuma as temporal rift opens below him as a result of Primus universe fractures. The rift teleports him to Grad Krovi. October 29th, 1945. Oh wait, no. October 18th, Peter McCain is jumped Shino teleports to Grad Krovi. October 29th, 1945, Dr. Graf takes control of the group 9 through 5 in Troffin's absence, not realizing his fate at the hands of Primus. I don't have any more long ones. You guys can enjoy a small clip right here in the background. October 31st, 1945. In the wake of haunted dreams and rumors that Samantha may be roaming Griffin Station, Graf worries that MPD may be corrupting the facilities. November 5th, 1945, Der Eisendrache. Recovering the Dempsey test subjects from a rocket bound on the moon, Richthofen secures his soul and reveals to Primus for his intention to set things right. Primus destroys Griffith Station and the moon. November 6th, 1945, drifting through space and time, in his surreal form, Gersh arrives in the fracture. November 6th, 1945, Grad Krovi. Primus arrives in Free Sophia and acquires Nikolai's soul. Richthofen teleports the souls of Dempsey, Takio, and Nikolai to Maxis and the house. Monty announces his existence to Primus for the first time. April 25th, 1953, while traveling to Shangri-La, Brock and Gary's plane crashes in the mountains as a result of freak atmospheres event, another side effect of temporal rifts created by the Primus traveling to Grad Krovi. November 6, 1963, hiding in a closet of the Pentagon, McNamara records the message confirming that John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, and Fidel Castro have died as a result of zombie outbreak. He dies moments later. That is the end of the storyline. And the final few pages are the character bios. So we're going to go through that. Tank Dempsey, Ultimus. Tank Dempsey, American hero. Hand him a loaded weapon, a good woman, and something to shoot, and he is happy. Enraged him, he'll rip your guts out and use them as a bandoler. Dempsey was selected for this mission after he showed his true grit during the Battle of Pelui. Remarkable though it may seem, his unit was captured during the early raids before the main invasion, and he spent 2 weeks in a rat-infested bamboo cage, submerged in mineral water. Well, that did not stop the tank. After he gnawed his way through the cage, he then gnawed his way through his captors, armed only with a bobby pin and his Medal of Honor, which he keeps secreted in various body cavities. Now you know there is no before the war for Dempsey, and there is no after. There is only that legend of Tank Dempsey and how he will win the war for the rest of us. Edward Richthofen, Ultimatus. Beware of the duck, a message that was scrawled across the walls of every town under Axis control. Starvation may cripple you. Dentistry may wreck you. You and gunfire may rip may wreck you, and gunfire may rip the flesh from your bones, but beware the doc. This is Dr. Richtofen, known effectively as the Butcher to his victims as they scream in agony moments before snuffs out their light. All through his career, Richtofen has been at the forefront of torture and information extraction research. Richtofen is an incurable sociopath and sees no moral distinction between natural death and murder. The victim is the victim regardless of how their demise manifests itself. Dr. Richtofen has collected the stuffed animals, most of them posed in position of terror in the instance of their death. Nikolai Belinsky. Stalin himself cannot stare Nikolai in the eye. No one can. There in his eyes you will see the soul of a man burning with hatred of all things living. His ghost is full of skeletons, many of them with the flesh still attached. Early in his career, Nikolai had quickly made his way through the party ranks by killing the next man in line, by marrying politically. Ultimately, his aspirations all came crashing down after his fifth wife mysteriously died when cleaning his axe with her neck. Little did he know that she had been sleeping with a high-ranking party official on the side. This made Nikolai infamous, and his reputation spread quickly through the party. It was no longer before Stalin himself had heard about Nikolai. More importantly, he feared Nikolai. As soon as the war started, our hero was dropped on the front lines and forgotten about. Where he wallowed in self-pity and vodka for several years, there were many weapons in his arsenal, not least of which in his breath. Enter Takio, from whom life has no meaning if not perfect your discipline and to reveal true character and honor. Perhaps he ponders this in philosophical. Yep, questions as his katana slices through the flesh and sinew of his enemy. Our hero was born into wealth. His family dynasty dates back several centuries, and throughout that time they had been highly decorated samurai and Bushido. Takio is no exception of the celebrated bloodline. Even when the family first saw the young, life-filled 5-year-old Takio playing in the street with his katana and slicing the tails off terrified kittens, it was obvious he was destined to bring horror to the Masaki name. Reserved and reflective, the war is perfect opportunity for Takio to explore his blood, lust, and study the nature of those less honorable than himself. So if you fall victim to his swift action and might know that he might have helped a man, then you reach enlightenment. And that is it. That is the end of... Yeah, that's the end of the Konorium. We've done everything. We've sat down and read through everything, and that's it. Yeah. Congratulations, you just went through you just sat down and listened through the whole Konorium. So now you guys know pretty much everything there is to know. Ah, man. What a great way to learn about all that stuff, man. I mean, that's just fantastic. If you guys enjoyed, feel free to drop that drop a like and subscribe for more videos like these, and be sure to click that bell so you guys know exactly when I'm going to be playing DLC 5 and whenever I get the World War II beta. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace.